is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio. PHLV Radio. Reeves Immigration Law Group now brings you Immigration Law on Your Side.
All right, thank you for joining us and welcome to another Immigration Law on Your Side right here at PHLV Radio. We're on every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Kuya Yo is coming from Las Vegas, Nevada. Kasama natin si Attorney FJ Diza of Reeves Immigration Law Group, and he is coming from San Francisco, California. Mga kaibigan, napakaganda po ng ating episode ngayong gabi because may mga updates tayo sa mga bagong pangyayari hinggil sa immigration. And mainit din ang ating pag-uusapan on top of the program because nearly a decade after the U.S. Department of Homeland Security created the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals or the DACA program. Alala niyo mga kaibigan, ilang beses nating napag-usapan yan. That is to provide protections to undocumented immigrants brought here as children here in the United States. Mga kababayan, a federal court judge in Texas struck down the program recently on July 16th, ordering the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, or ang USCIS, to stop issuing any new DACA benefits. So mga kaibigan, kailangan malaman natin ang updates na ito galing kay Attorney FJ Diza of Reeves Immigration Law Group, ang sponsor ng ating program ngayong gabi. Magandang gabi po sa iyo, Attorney Diza, and welcome to another Immigration Law on Your Side here at PHLV Radio.
Magandang gabi Kuya Johan, at of course sa mga viewers and listeners natin, magandang hapon, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. This is another new episode ang ating pag-uusapan, ang updates po dito sa Immigration Law on Your Side. Napapanahon because since January, Kuya Johan, we just gave them a brief updates on immigration updates, but now we're going to discuss, yung as you mentioned, yung DACA, and also during Trump's 4-year term, ilang beses natin pinag-usapan ang DACA dahil marami siyang mga actions na ginawa, yung presidential proclamations trying to end, terminate, rescind DACA. But there are many advocates, immigration advocates who went to court, filed a lawsuit before district courts enjoining the Trump administration from terminating the DACA. But fortunately, as we mentioned on ating pag-usap the first month of the year when President Biden took office, isa sa mga programa niya is was to reinstate yung DACA, and also encourage yung mga first-time timers to apply nung DACA. Dahil Kuya Johan, marami pa rin ang mga kababayan natin at marami mga dreamers, mga recipient ng DACA who failed or did not apply kasi natatakot sila that they're going to expose themselves sa government. So that's number one. And number two, yung marami rin mga hindi pa qualified at that time dahil may mga age requirement to, di ba? You need to be either 14 or 16, di ba, in order to apply. So yung mga iba na, they were toddlers when they brought into the US at, hindi pa eligible mag-apply nung panahon ni President Obama. So sa mga listeners natin, there's no point to panic dahil ang decision ng Texas judge was only for initial DACA recipients o yung mga first time na mag-apply. So in other words, those around 800,000 DACA recipients who have pending, or who have been renewing yung kanilang DACA applications and work authorizations for the last 9 years, eligible pa rin sila. So don't panic dahil karamihan pa rin ay entitled nung mag-apply at ma-approve ang kanilang DACA application.
And understandable mga kababayan kung medyo nabulaga kayo sa balitang ito and you might be panicking. Sabi ni Attorney, wag nga mag-panic. Attorney, kung you are a current recipient of DACA, linawin natin, this is valid and this has nothing to do with your current DACA.
Correct. So pag-usapan natin, Kuya Johan, since the decision nung July 16 of 2021, as we mentioned, yung Texas judge, federal judge issued that decision. Ito yung mga effect and consequences ng mga DACA recipients. Number one, So if you are a DACA recipient now, valid pa rin yan. Whether initial filing yan or renewal. Right? So valid pa ang yung status, pwede pa kayo mag-work, mabigyan ng rather, gamitin yung work authorization. Pangalawa, Kuya Johan, if you have a DACA renewal application, right, and work authorization, you keep renewing it, siyempre until further notice or until further court actions done. Ito yung nabanggit ko kanina na yung mga around 800,000 DACA recipients have been renewing, who filed their DACA the first time during Obama and keep renewing until Trump, until today. So entitled pa silang mag-renew, right? So yun ang pangalawa. Pangatlo, if you have a pending DACA application, right, first time po kayo mag-apply, they will not deny right away. Despite the decision ng Texas judge, hindi po yan i-deny. I-freeze lang muna ang decision because pag-usapan din natin mamaya kung ano ang legal action na gagawin po ng Biden administration. Right? So let's say, hindi, yun yung pangatlo. Meron kayong DACA, first timer po kayo nag-apply, you don't expect na the-decision na nila kaagad until the government will appeal the case and until further notice kung sakali papanigan ulit ng higher court ang administration. Pang-apat, if you are a DACA eligible to file a DACA the first time, question is ipa-file mo ba, right? And again, just because of that decision, don't be discouraged to file kasi they might still accept it pero walang magiging decision. The same thing if you freeze nila ang decision. Depende pa kung ano magiging legal action ang gagawin ng administration or ano ang gagawin ng higher courts. Now, kung mayroon kayong advance parole, right? Kasi nung panahon ni Biden, sinabi rin niya na pwede na kayo mag-file ng advance parole because during Trump's time, tinanggal din yan. So let's say, during Biden's time, nung January, nag-file po kayo ng advance parole at na-issue po kayo, valid po yan. So pwede niyong gamitin yan pag travel outside the US. Right? So yun po ang mga consequences ng decision ng Texas judge. Essentially, Kuya Johan, ang sinasabi lang dito is hindi lang nila actionan, right, ang mga first time na applications. Pero for people who are already have renewed or their DACA, pwede nilang gawin ulit yan, pwedeng ituloy ang pag-file ng renewal until further notice.
And bahagyang nabanggit yung attorney kanina, naturally the administration will be doing something about it. Ano na po, attorney, ang naging aksyon ng Biden administration about this decision?
Yes, the Biden administration will appeal, the decision because this is a federal case. Either they go to since this is a Texas case, Kuya Johan, it goes to the Fifth Circuit. The Fifth Circuit yan. And assuming the Fifth Circuit justices will decide against DACA, the Biden administration can still appeal the case before the U.S. Supreme Court. So yun po ang level of appeals. And secondly, the Biden administration also indicated that they're going to, to implement a proposed rule. No? Kumbaga, they're trying to cure kung ano yung nakita ng mga taong ito yung nag-file ng case against DACA, kung paano po remedyohan. Kasi the judge was saying that it was an unlawful dahil may certain procedures that the government did not follow. So they might issue a proposed rule regarding first-time DACA applications. So ito yung mga binanggit ng administrasyon na gagawin tungkol dito sa decision.
And, attorney, for those who've been affected by this, those who have pending applications and those who are eligible and have yet to apply, in the meantime na merong ganito, what can they do, attorney, in the meantime?
Yes, unang-una, Kuya Johan, yung mga eligible to renew, right? Don't be afraid. Pangalawa, if you think you're eligible, still file because as we mentioned, they might, you're not able to get an approval right away, but who knows, baka ma-overturn naman yung decision ng higher court. Now, pangatlo, of course, be active in calling, probably or writing your congresswoman or congressman or senators, advising them or telling them to pass a DREAM Act, or needs congressional action para sa mga dreamers, Kuya Johan. Kasi itong DACA na to, as we mentioned in the past, this is just a presidential proclamation, di ba? It's an act of the president without the congressional approval. So mas malakas kasi kung gagawing batas ito, hindi lang congressional, hindi lang presidential action, kundi kung mayroong act of Congress, a bill that is introduced by one of the congresspersons and then passed and then approved by the president, then that becomes a law. So yun ang mas stronger ang stand nila kung mayroong batas that would allow yung DACA or pass a DREAM Act.
So a more permanent solution.
Correct.
Yes. So what can they do to advocate this? Are there groups right now advocating for Congress to take this up, Attorney?
Yeah, marami, Kuya Johan. Again, they should write the congressperson. Yung congresswoman, tawagan sila. There are also look at the internet how to actively participate. Either may mga text din dyan, may mga calls, may mga phone numbers. It directs you kung sino po ang inyong congressperson para tawagan sila at i-text sila that they need to act now on this DACA and the Dreamers.
In other words, be proactive, whether you have friends or family who might be eligible or those who are affected, be proactive. Yun lang po ang bilin ng ating butihing attorney na si Attorney Fil-Am Javier Diza from Reeves Immigration Law Group. If they have questions about this, Attorney, will they be able to consult you about this if they are somehow affected by this decision?
Definitely, Kuya Johan. I just had a consultation this morning about the advance parole, right, for a DACA recipient who have been renewing it since 2012. I advised them that there's no specific guidelines, whether they will be issued an advance parole. So it's a good idea, Kuya Johan. Our law firm at Reeves Immigration Law Group, we are open Monday to Friday, sometimes Saturday. If we can also accommodate clients on a Saturday on a case-by-case basis. If an attorney is available to do a consultation with us by Zoom or by phone. Right, or we're now accepting clients in person consultation or conference, Kuya Johan. Our offices in San Francisco and Los Angeles, also in Makati and China. We are offering in-person consultation already. You can reach us at 415-568-3777 and discuss, if you are impacted or affected by this ruling.
Okay, awesome. Maganda po palang balita yan that you can visit Attorney Diza and all the other attorneys Reeves Immigration Law Group, especially out there in California. And before we head over to a break, Attorney, is there any other thing that you wanted to add about this DACA news?
Well, Kuya Johan, just it's an evolving process and evolving news, ang DACA. I mean, during Trump's time, ilang beses itong karoon ng rescission and termination at nagsusurvive pa rin naman. This was a law, this was a presidential proclamation that was passed in 2012. It's almost 10 years already. We are finding a solution sa mga children who came here. Not only the children, but also for people who have been here for a very long time. There are about 10, 12 million overstayed, out of status, especially for those dreamers who have no fault. They were dragged to come to the U.S. They made the United States their home, their place. Most of them, and this DACA, one of the requirements for DACA is, they go to school, they went to school, and no criminal conviction. They're contributing to the economy, Kuya Johan. They're part of the workforce. Marami sa kanila professionals, skilled, unskilled, and they pay taxes. They serve the military. That's why we are very strongly advocating, the passage of the DREAM Act, just because they're part of our community already. And what we need is a solution. Hindi po yung, ma-terminate yung kanilang opportunity to work and serve the military and pay the taxes. So yun lang po, and hopefully may nakikinig tayong mga people who are, advocating immigrants' rights, kagaya ng Dreamers, would also, proactive and convince other people to urge or call the congressperson to pass the DREAM Act and possibly comprehensive immigration reform, Kuya Johan.
Maganda. Maraming salamat, Attorney. And mga kaibigan, for our late tuners, we are talking about the latest news about DACA. Pwede po ninyong balikan itong episode nito. Pagkatapos ito, it'll be available on social media and also on our podcast platforms. And by the way, magandang gabi or happy listening and viewing to our thousands of viewers na, Attorney. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagtutok sa immigration law on your side. And we will head over to a break just to remind you mga information about Reeves Immigration Law Group. But pag-uusapan po natin on the other side of the break, ito pang iba pang mga malalaking balita. May malaking balita mga kaibigan affecting people in immigration court and many others. And we'll take a look at the situation in our embassies abroad affecting you mga kaibigan. We will be right back for those information right after this. Diyan lamang po kayo.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has been representing immigrants for nearly 40 years. Reeves Immigration Law Group has been fighting for its clients through experience and expertise. With immigration lawyers you can access at reasonable fees even on Saturday. Payment plans are also available. Call us for your immigration solutions. We can do worldwide telephone and Skype consultations. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009. Reeves Immigration Law Group has offices in Los Angeles, San Francisco, China, and Philippines. See us at www.rreeves.com. Reeves Immigration Law Group, 1-800-795-8009.
Okay, thank you very much, Reeves Immigration Law Group, our major sponsor for immigration law on your side, right here at PHLV Radio. We're here every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific, and magandang gabi and hello na rin sa ating mga listeners out there sa East Coast. Marami tayong mga listeners na in the New York and in the DMV area as well, Florida, and in that corridor of the United States. Maraming salamat po sa pagtututok nyo sa ating immigration law on your side. And welcome po sa ating program na nanggagaling sa West Coast. I'm coming from Las Vegas. Si attorney naman nanggagaling sa San Francisco, California. And mangyari lamang po na tumawag at bisitahin ang website ng ating mga kaibigan from Reeves Immigration Law Group. That's www.rreeves.com for more information. Mga kaibigan, before we headed to a break, we gave you a preview of some big news. Attorney, mabigyan natin sila ng updates, especially this news affecting people in immigration court. Go ahead po, Attorney.
Yes, Kuya Johan. In the past episode, we discussed yung tinatawag nating administrative closure. Not administrative closure, but prosecutorial discretion. Right? Mm-hmm. Prosecutorial discretion in the sense that the government attorney, right, have the authority to dismiss or terminate a case. Right? That's a big news kasi nung panahon ni President Obama, ang big news during his time was administrative closure. Meaning, they temporarily close, right, or pause your case. In other words, wala ka dun sa immigration court. Nandun ka pa rin sa immigration court, pero, i-close yung case mo, so wala kang future hearing date. The problem with having a court, right, Kuya Johan, and moving forward to a case is that if you don't have a viable relief, right, wala kang asawa, wala kang petition, wala kang kamag-anak, overstay po kayo, wala kang relief. Ibig sabihin, overstay ka and the government can deport you and the judge will order you to remove. Now, what did Obama do? Sabi niya, itong mga client na hindi, rather yung mga applicants na hindi high priority, right? Walang criminal records, may magulang sila dito or may mga kamag-anak dito, nagbabayad ng taxes, why don't we close the case? Right? And be able to file a work permit based on ano yung pending application nila, right? Asylum, adjustment, or any other basis for applying for a green card. And that's really a big thing sa mga kababayan natin na nasa removal proceedings para, kung wala silang viable relief pa, hintayin ko na lang mag-21 yung anak ko, di ba? Instead of me filing for cancellation of removal. Now, during Trump's time, right, ang kanyang enforcement priority, right, was everyone who are our status. Kagaya ng Obama na, okay, ang priority natin yung mga may conviction ng aggravated felony or yung mga recidivists na, pabalik-balik sa US na yung they entered without inspection, dineport sila, babalik na naman sila. So yung mga yun ang pina-priority na i-deport, right? Or yung mga may fraud cases. Now, but during Trump's time, lahat ng mga overstay, right, nagbayad ng status priority. Now, kay Biden naman, Kuya Johan, as we discussed during our last episode, ang sinasabi niya is, okay, meron kayong prosecutorial discretion. So ang government has the authority to prosecute ang overstay, right? Whether they're going to deport them or not. So ang sinasabi ni Biden is, okay, wag natin i-priority kung wala naman silang criminal records, kung may family naman sila o may hinihintay na relief. But there was a decision by a court, many courts, circuit courts during Trump's time, na hindi pwedeng i-close na ang mga cases. Right? Hindi pwedeng i-close. Since we are bound by that decision, Kuya Johan, ngayon kay Biden, hindi rin pwedeng i-close ang case. Now, matutuwa siguro ang mga kliyente, Kuya Johan, kung i-dismiss ang kaso, right? Or terminate kasi mawawala na sila sa immigration court. But the problem there is hindi sila pwedeng magkaroon ng work permit. So once na dinismiss yung kaso mo or terminate yung case mo, dismiss na rin yung relief mo. Right? Wala ka na sa immigration court. So yun ang disadvantage. Now, recently, right, ang ating Attorney General said, ni-reinstate niya ngayon yung administrative closure. There's a great advantage dito, Kuya Johan, kasi kung ikaw naghintay ng priority date mo for another 10 years at nasa court ka, wala kang viable relief, definitely ang judge will order to remove. But when you say, pwede ba natin i-close muna tong kaso ko, right, and based on my cancellation of removal or asylum pending, pag close yung kaso mo, wala kang case, wala kang future hearing date. But the good thing is you're able to renew. Renew yung work permit mo, right? Kung based ng asylum lang, 2 taon yan. Kung based on marriage or based on other basis, 1 taon pwede kang mag-renew, you're able to get the work authorization, keep your job, lalo-lalo na po kung nasa malalaki kayong kumpanya. Siyempre, they would like to see, ang inyong work permit and they're just following yung kanilang e-verification, and definitely you can keep your job until such time that there is a viable relief for you. So this is really a good news kasi these people in removal proceedings, even if the cases are closed, would be able to renew their work authorization.
So that's great news, mga kababayan. And like what we always say, immigration news is very fluid, especially at this day and age. So manatiling nakatutok po sa Reeves Immigration Law Group's Immigration Law on Your Side program. And also sa ating mga social media pages sa Reeves Immigration, and then nandyan po yung social media pages ni Attorney Diza. So i-follow na po and i-like yung kanyang mga social media pages. And iba pang balita, mga kaibigan, hinggil sa immigration na napag-usapan, and I would like to ask Attorney Diza now is the new startup visa. Ano po itong startup visa, Attorney?
Yes, very Kuya, very useful to kung ipapasa. Siyempre, advice natin sa mga listeners and viewers natin, this is just a bill, meaning it's just introduced by a congresswoman from California. Ito yung LIKE Act. Meron ding counterpart nito kay during Obama's time, but it was killed right during Trump's time. Ito yung Let Immigrants Kickstart employment. So ito yung mga start-up. So yung marami tayong mga kababayan dyan na mahilig mag-invento o gumawa ng mga technology. Probably you have the talent to do it. Then probably this applies to you. Basically, para sa startup business, very very briefly, Kuya Johan, sinasabi lang dito that you have at least 10% ownership, right? And receive at least 250,000 qualified investors or 100,000 from the government award. So isa sa mga requirements yan, and of course you know that being the applicant, you play an important role dito sa startup business na to. But essentially, this is a new visa, Kuya Johan. It's also a non-immigrant visa, as we discussed in our previous episodes. Yung alphabet soup, di ba? From A to Z.
So ano magiging letter nito, Attorney? Kung sakali?
W, Kuya Johan. W1 visa.
W1.
Yun ang tawag nila. Kung maipasa ito, magiging W kasi doon sa alphabet soup na pinag-usapan natin, it looks like wala pa yatang W doon. So hopefully it will be passed kasi even if this is a non-immigrant, 3 years muna, renewable for another 3 years, may opportunity for them to file a green card, yung self-petition. So also, isa sa mga inintroduce ng congressman, hopefully despite the differences ng Republicans and Democrats, they should look at the importance of putting up itong startup business. Di ba? Kasi marami sa atin dito, lalo na sa Bay Area, Kuya Johan, Silicon Valley, where people start their businesses here dito sa Bay Area and other parts of the US. Nag-start ang small businesses that grew into a big one, kagaya ng mga Facebook, Snapchat, lahat yan, Twitter. Dito nag-uumpisa yan, and hopefully sa mga kababayan natin will produce another Banataw, right? If you remember, Banataw was very very popular as a businessman in the Bay Area. So it's not only that. So hopefully, in the future, may mga Pilipino din na will make a name in the technology and business industry.
Surely, because very talented ang ating mga Pinoy, hindi lang sa larangan ng teknolohiya, and as you can see right now, even sa larangan ng sports, medyo maganda ang performance natin sa ongoing Olympics in Tokyo. But attorney, nabanggit nyo kanina that this is a non-immigrant visa. Kung sakasakali mga kaibigan lang at kasi ito'y proposal pa lamang. Ito po bang non-immigrant visa na ito, is this that kind of non-immigrant visa na tinatawag na dual intent, na pwede kang mag-adjust in the future to become an immigrant here in the United States? For example, lumaki at lumago yung startup, yung negosyo, naturally you will probably want to adjust.
Correct, especially if you already have a prospering business, or and they're employing U.S. citizens, right, as your employees, and you are earning incomes, then definitely one of the section ng bills allow green card through this process, W-2 leading to green card. Yes, it's a dual intent. There should not be an issue about you coming here to start a business and eventually becoming a citizen. Kagaya ng H-1Bs, right, or L-1s, these are dual intent that allows people to transition from investor startup business visa to a green card.
Right. And linawin lang natin sa ating mga friends, attorney, na dahil nabanggit natin yung dual intent, ay kayo pong may mga tourist visa, mga B visa po ba yun, attorney? Those are not dual intent visas. You have to go home.
Correct. B1, B2, tourist visa for pleasure or visitor, and student visa, there's no dual intent there.
Yes.
Wala dapat dual intent, because if you tell immigration officer that you're applying for a tourist visa and you're coming here to work, then that's not going to work. Just because tourist visa, visitor visa, student visa, there should be no dual intent.
Okay, so importante mga kaibigan yung intention nyo sa pagpupunta dito sa Amerika. Attorney, I just remembered one time we were talking about another type of immigration benefit by which somebody investing here in the United States can immigrate, and I think that one was an immigrant visa naman yun. How does this differ from that, attorney? If I was the investor, why would I choose the non-immigrant over the immigrant path to come here in the United States and invest this kind of money?
The investor visa, Kuya Johan, is also a non-immigrant. It's a non-immigrant visa. Ito yung L1 is intra-company transfer, but for the investor E1 or E2 visas, those are non-immigrant. That's why when we discuss this, if they want to become a green card holder, they need to be petitioned either by the children or by the spouse. But the actual investor, Kuya Johan, they cannot. Yun ang kinaganda nitong startup business, because this will lead to a green card. Diba? Mayroong self-petition. You just need to comply some of the requirements, like you earn this much money or you employ this many employees. Pero yung investor, Kuya Johan, wala. As I mentioned in the past, we have clients where they keep renewing kanilang E1, E2 for 10 years, 15 years, until sa time nagkaanak sila dito, yung anak ang nag-petition eventually, or yung asawa nakahanap ng employer. But that's the huge difference between the E2 investor and the W1, startup business. So hopefully this proposed bill will become a law para mas magandang opportunity ng mga kababayan natin to come here, start a business, and eventually apply for a green card through that startup business.
All right. Well, I stand corrected. Ganun nga pala po, attorney, yung sitwasyon noon. And nabanggit natin dyan na mangyari po lamang mga kaibigan na balikan ang iba pang mga episodes ng Immigration Law on Your Side. They are available everywhere. Nandito po sa social media natin, nasa Facebook, nasa YouTube. And recently, maraming pumupunta at nagda-download ng ating mga podcast sa mga audio naman. Most likely, you guys are working or you're driving that you cannot watch us. Sayang lang at hindi nyo nakikita yung poging-poging natin, attorney. Pero kung
at saka host, Kuya Yo.
kung napapakinggan nyo naman kami, at least medyo napipikap nyo pa rin yung ating mga updates. Hindi lang yung mga timely updates but a lot of information about ang immigration. Speaking of updates, attorney, medyo urong-sulong ang ating regarding the COVID, dito kami sa Las Vegas ay nagkaroon na naman ng mandate for the employees to wear masks indoors, and mukhang dyan sa California may usaping ganyan na rin. And what's happening also in terms of immigration in our embassies and in our USCIS, marami ang mga nangangamba na baka magka-delay na naman. Attorney, what's going on sa ating mga immigration courts and sa USCIS and embassies as well?
Yes, ang first and foremost, ang opisina namin na full reopening na kami, and the good thing is we adapted partly working from home because we thought that it was efficient and effective then. So kahit ngayon medyo naging maluwag na, Kuya Johan, we still retain some days working from home, and that's a great news for our staff and our clients as well. Now, yung mga in-person namin, we now accompany clients yung mga in-person interviews because that's part of our service, to accompany you and hold your hand to make sure that you're not being intimidated by the immigration officer. Mm-hmm. And almost every day, our attorneys are going out na accompanying clients before USCIS interviews and before immigration courts, asylum offices. I was just at Santa Clara, San Jose area, the immigration office yesterday, and Kuya Johan, they already start interviewing mga spousal petitions. In the past, nabanggit natin ang pinapriority yung citizenship. So marami na rin, Kuya Johan, scheduled 2 o'clock. There were about I would say 20 applicants at that point. Wow. During from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. So medyo marami na rin, right? So they're gradually reopening it. At I've seen one officer na hindi naka-mask. Although we were required to mask, I should have called the attention. Then I realized that under federal law pala, pwedeng wala ng mask as long as they were vaccinated, and wala pa yung sa variant. Although there was an order from Newsom, Governor Newsom ng California, that all state employees are required to either show their vaccination records or they should have a a swab test every week. Right?
Wow.
That showing that they're negative. So siyempre, with the inconvenience, kung ako yung anti-vax, magpapavaccine na lang ako, di ba? So sa mga kababayan natin, marami rin siguro mga Pilipino who do not believe in vaccination, right? We should believe in science. We should be all in together, right? Marami pa rin dyan ang ayaw magpavaccine. And we have the opportunity, mga kababayan, hindi kagaya sa ibang bansa. Ang Pilipinas na nga lang, may pila na mahaba para lang mag-vaccine. Pero kayo po yung nasa Amerika, at eligible po kayo magpa-vaccine. If there's no medical reason, right, then do the vaccination. So the same thing, Kuya Johan, sa embassy. Ang experience po natin, ang tourist visa applications, hindi sila nag-appointment yan kung hindi yan emergency. Right? So kung gusto nyong mamasyal sa Amerika, pwedeng hold off muna yan until such time na bumalik tayo sa normal. But if you have some emergency like visiting an ailing family member, right, or other emergency reasons, then you can probably apply for a tourist visa. Yung mga naghihintay din na mga application ng interviews, may mga natatanggap na po tayo na mga na-interview na rin despite the COVID sa Pilipinas, yung variant and other, yung mismong COVID pa na mataas at yung mga bumabalik din yung quarantine doon, may mga interviews pa rin na natutuloy. So I encourage mga kababayan natin, go for it kasi hindi natin alam kung kailan na naman kayo matawag ng interview. So, but of course, exercise all the precautions. Embassies are scheduling interviews uh, especially those who were called before the COVID na na-cancel, and during the COVID na na-cancel, yun po ang mga tinatawag nila ngayon. And also for people who have reason to expedite their cases dahil, mag-age out yung mga anak or may medical condition ang magulang, we don't want them that something happened to the petitioner. Now, if they pass away, then yung petition is automatically revoked. So you need to contact the embassy and the NVC telling them of the emergency reason why you need the interview right now or in the near future. So yun po ang updates natin. Of course, hindi po natin control ang sitwasyon, lalo na yung pagkalat ng COVID at ng variant ng COVID, Delta variant. So hopefully matapos na to at hopefully babalik po na tayo sa normal. Sabi mo nga urong-sulong, but hopefully babalik na rin tayo sa dati, at hindi na po mag-spread either the Delta or the COVID.
Mm-hmm. Maraming salamat, Attorney, for the update. And I know also na marami ring updates sa ating Reeves Immigration Law Group out there in San Francisco and in the California area. I'll give this opportunity, Attorney, to address our audience about our law firm. And especially you guys have been featured in the news recently. And you've also been, I believe you have a new partner in the firm. Attorney, you have the floor.
Yes, maraming salamat Kuya Johan. Our firm, as we mentioned, we've been here over 40 years na po kami. Right? We keep the tradition of rendering excellent legal representation sa immigration community. Most of us, all the partners are immigration specialists. This is what we do every day. We breathe in and breathe out. We even dream about immigration, right? We have many success stories. We keep getting them, Kuya Johan. There are frustrations, especially during Trump's administration, right? Even now, frustration natin, of course, yung delay, but we are here to help. Hopefully to reunite you with your family and be able to obtain your American dreams. Maraming salamat, Kuya Johan. Back to normal na po tayo dito sa opisina. As we mentioned, we accept in-person consultation. We now charge $100 for Zoom or telephone consultation, which will be credited towards your contract. If you have a case and we offer you a contract and you decided to sign up with us, we credit your consultation towards that contract. So we have offices in Makati, as we mentioned, and also in China and Los Angeles, and we're here to help. Maraming salamat, Kuya Johan, sa, of course, patuloy pag-imbita sa amin dito to give public service sa mga kababayan natin. And of course, U.S. immigration law is always evolving. That's why we are here to give you updates twice a month. And also, like our Facebook page, my personal FJ Diza, U.S. Immigration Attorney, Reeves Immigration Law Group, at saka yung PHLV Radio. Meron din po kaming website, Kuya Johan, kung mapapansin po ninyo, bagong
right.
rin yung website namin, bagong face. Kumbaga, we made it more user-friendly at para makita rin ang mga articles and teams working on your case, and at the same time yung mga success stories natin ng mga approval cases. Maraming salamat ulit po sa inyo. Always stay safe and be vaccinated. Right? Maraming salamat, Kuya Johan.
Maraming salamat, Attorney Fil-Am Javier Diza, partner at Reeves Immigration Law Group out there in San Francisco, California. May offices din sa Los Angeles area and then sa China. And then dyan po mga kaibigan, huwag kalilimutan, meron dyan sa Makati, nandyan po sa Pilipinas. Again, Attorney, maraming salamat for joining us tonight right here at Immigration Law on Your Side. And guys, maraming salamat also for downloading the episode sa mga podcast listeners natin and viewers natin on Amazon Fire TV. Maraming salamat po. And our listeners on the PHLV radio app right now, maraming salamat po. It has been a great edition of ating Immigration Law on Your Side. We will see you again next time, mga kaibigan, dito po sa PHLV Radio. In the meantime, Attorney, ingat po kayo dyan. And guys, we will see you next time.
Reeves Immigration Law Group has just brought you Immigration Law on Your Side. Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Pacific on PHLV Radio. This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.
PHLV.